to all. Today's daf is Rosh Daf Lamed. We are starting Chav Tes Amud Beis, the bottom line at the two dots. And today's daf is sponsored Lilu Nishmas, Mars Miriam Sarah Basar Yaakov Moshe, her neshama should have an aliyah, and Lilu Nishmas, Mars Freida Chayu Bela Basar Yitzchak Tzvi, her neshama should have an aliyah. Now, quick note: I'm going to Be'ez Hashem be in Lakewood this Sunday, November 14th, for the Siyum on Maseches Rosh Hashanah. It would be a real honor and pleasure to meet anyone that can make it out there. The details of the when and the where of the Siyum can be found on alldaf.org. Looking forward to seeing everyone. And the Mishnah had said, Amar Lo Echad Yavne Vechad Kol Makam Shesh Be'Bezdin. We were discussing blowing shofar on Rosh Hashanah, the following Shabbos, which at the times of the Beis HaMikdash was done only in the Beis HaMikdash, and after Chorban Abayis, Rabbi Yechim Mizaka was misakin the shofars to be blown anywhere there's a Bezdin. There was machlekes in the Mishnah if that was only in Yavne or in any place that has a Bezdin. And Amar Avuna, he says, Lamed Amar Alpha on the top of the im Bezdin, this is only with Bezdin. My im Bezdin, what does that mean with Bezdin? B'fnei Bezdin, shofar has to be blown in front of Bezdin, in the presence of Bezdin. Lafuke shalai b'fnei Bezdin delay, that excludes the person's not in front of Bezdin, so then he's not able to blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah that falls out on Shabbos. But now Masav Rava, he asked the following question on Rav Huna, and this is a little bit of a long-winded question, so pay attention. The Mishnah had said that there's another thing that Yerushalayim is better than Yavne. Now, my va'odzais, what does that mean? There's another thing that Yerushalayim is better. Elim, if you want to say Kediktani, it's exactly what the Mishnah just continues to say, that Yerushalayim is better than Yavne, that all the surrounding environs of Yerushalayim are also able to blow shofar Shabbos, Rosh Hashanah. However, Yavne is not like that. So in Zais mi ba'ilei, the Mishnah should have just said Zais. It shouldn't have said va'odzais, and here's another thing that Yerushalayim is different than Yavne, because we didn't mention anything. It should have just said that Zais, this is something that Yerushalayim and Yavne are different. Why does it say va'oid Zais? So it must be that the va'oid is talking about another thing that Yerushalayim is different. Ella, the Yerushalayim taking Yechidin, Ubeyavne ain't taking Yechidin. Then Yerushalayim individuals are allowed to blow shofar, Rosh Hashanah, Shabbos, but in Yavne individuals are not allowed to blow. The Gemara says right away that can't be because Ubeyavne ain't taking Yechidin. In Yavne individuals are not allowed to blow. V'haki asr of Yitzchak bar Yosef. When Yitzchak bar Yosef came from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, Amar, he said, Ki Misayim shlichut tzibur tekiya b'Yavne. When the shlich tzibur, meaning the main Baal Tekeah, finished blowing in Yavne, loy shama inish kol une, a person wasn't able to hear anything in his ear, mikol tekayaya dichidai, from all the individual shofar blowings. All the people that missed the main shofar blowing in the main shul in Yavne, they would just blow on their own. So clearly we see that even in Yavne, individuals are allowed to blow. So El Lav, so what does it mean that Yerushalayim has something else that is different than Yavne? Did Yerushalayim taken bein bezman bezin, bein shalai bezman bezin? In Yerushalayim, you're allowed to blow shofar whether or not Bezin is in session. Bezin was in session up until Chatzos. So in Yerushalayim, you're allowed to blow even if it's not bezman bezin. Or Yavne bezman bezin in shalai bezman bezin loy. Yavne was different. You were only allowed to blow shofar as long as Bezin was in session, but afterwards you're not to blow shofar. But what do we see from this way of learning the Mishnah? Habizman Bezdin Mia Taikin, that if you are blowing at the time the Bezdin is in session, you are allowed to blow Vafilu Shalai B'fnei Bezdin, even though you're not in the presence of Bezdin, and clearly this is not like Rav Huna. So the Gemara says, Lai, that's not the way to read the Mishnah. The Ilib Yerushalayim Taikin Bein B'fnei Bezdin, Bein Shalai B'fnei Bezdin. In Yerushalayim, you could blow shofar in the presence of Bezdin and even not in the presence of Bezdin. But if Yavne B'fnei Bezdin, in Shalai B'fnei Bezdin Lai, if you're not in the presence of Bezdin in Yavne, you're not allowed to blow shofar. So in summary, according to this understanding, not only could the surrounding environs of Yerushalayim blow, which is not in the case of Yavne, in Yerushalayim the shofar is also allowed to be blown after the usual time Bezdin sits and needn't be blown in the presence of Bezdin either, whereas in Yavne it's only allowed to be blown when Bezdin is convened in the presence of Bezdin. And now we have a different version of this. Some teach Rav Huna's statement on the following. The Chsiv says in the pasuk regarding Yovel, on Yom Kippur of Yovel, you have to sound the shofar in all your land. Malam, this teaches that every single individual is chayav to blow shofar on Yom Kippur of Yovel. It says b'chol artzachem, in all of your land, even in Yachid is chayav. And Rav Huna said on that, v'im Bezdin, it has to be done in Bezdin. Now my v'im Bezdin, what does that mean? It has to be done with Bezdin. Bizman Bezdin, it has to be done at the time the Bezdin is convening. Lafuke shloi bizman Bezdin deloi, that excludes that he's not allowed to blow shofar at the time the Bezdin is not being convened. And obviously can't mean that he has to blow shofar in the presence of Bezdin like we previously learned, because the pasuk clearly says it's b'chol artzachem, it's blown everywhere even if you're not in the presence of Bezdin. So it must be that it has to be blown at the time the Bezdin is convened. But now we're going to ask two questions on this. Masav Rava, he asked the first question. Tkiyas Rosh Hashanah v'Yovel, the blowing shofar of Rosh Hashanah and Yovel. Doichas HaShabbos, that's Doichas Shabbos, B'gvulin, outside the Beis HaMikdash. Ish ubeisoi, man and his house. Now my ish ubeisoi, what does it mean man and his house? Even if you want to say ish v'ishtoi, it means man and wife are chayav to blow shofar in these two times. It's a mima chayva, as a woman chayav to blow shofar. V'mitzvah say shazman grama hi. This is a mitzvah say shazman grama. What does that mean? It is a time-bound mitzvah. V'chol mitzvah say shazman grama. Any time-bound mitzvah, meaning it's dependent on time, nashim paturis, so they're patur in that mitzvah. So it can't be that women are chayav in shofar. So elav, it must be that ish bibeisai, when it says ish ubeisai, it means a man in his house. Vafilu shalai bizman bezdin, that seems to be that even if he's blowing it not at the time the bezdin's convened, he's still allowed to blow shofar. So we say no, that's not a question. It means a man blows in his house. However, he has to do so when bezdin is convened. Maser Rav Sheshes, he asked another question. We know that Shava Yovel Rosh Hashanah Letkiu Lebrachas, that Yom Kippur of Yovel is similar to Rosh Hashanah when it comes to blowing shofar, and the brachas of Mosaf Shemana Esrei. Ella, what's the difference? difference. On Yovel, we're going to blow shofar in Bezdin, whether they were Makadosh the month in that Bezdin, or if it was a Bezdin they weren't Makadosh the month in. And every individual is chayav to blow. On Rosh Hashanah, they would only blow the shofar in the Bezdin they were Makadosh the Chodesh, and every individual is not chayav to blow shofar. But now the Gemara asks, what does that mean? That on Rosh Hashanah every individual is not chayav to blow? Elim, if you want to say that it's exactly as it sounds, to be Yovel taking Yechidin Rosh Hashanah and taking Yechidin, that individuals blow on Yovel and individuals do not blow on Rosh Hashanah, but that's not true, because V'haki Asr of Yitzchak Bar Yosef, when Yitzchak Bar Yosef came from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, Amar, he said, when the main Baal Tekeh finished blowing in Yavne, a person couldn't hear any sound in his ear, from all the shofar blowings of individuals. So we see the individuals do blow on Rosh Hashanah. So El Lav, what does it mean that individuals blow on Yovel and they do not blow on Rosh Hashanah? The Ilu be Yovel taken bein bisman bezin, bein shalei bisman bezin. That means that on Yovel you're able to blow even when bezin is not convened. Rosh Hashanah bisman bezin in, shalei bisman bezin loy. On Rosh Hashanah you're only allowed to blow when bezin is convened. So Ketani Miyas, at any rate we learned over here that be Yovel bein bisman bezin, bein shalei bisman bezin, that on Yovel you are able to blow shofar even though bezin has not been convened. That's clearly not like Rav Huna. So the Gemara once again says, loy, that's not the way to understand it. Loy lam bisman bezin, you have to blow shofar on Yovel when bezin is convened. And this is really what we're learning. B'Yovel b'zman bezin taikin bein b'fnei bezin bein shalei b'fnei bezin. On Yovel, when bezin is convened, you're allowed to blow shofar whether you're in the presence of bezin. But for Rosh Hashanah, taikin b'zman bezin u b'fnei bezin. On Rosh Hashanah, not only do you have to blow at the time the bezin is convened, similar to Yovel, but you also have to blow b'fnei bezin in the presence of bezin, and that's how Rosh Hashanah is different than Yovel. And at Marnami was also said, Amar v'chia bar gamda, Amar Rabbi Yossi ben Shaul, Amar Rabbi, ein taikin ela calls matcha bezin yashven. You're only allowed to blow shofar as long as bezin has been convened, but you are not allowed to blow shofar after bezin is disbanded already. And by Rabbi Zecharia, he has the following question: Ninaru lamoid. Let's say everyone in bezin, they already shifted, they wanted to get up, they moved their chairs, they closed their svarim. It's very clear that they're just about to get up, but beloy amdu, they didn't stand up, they actually didn't disband yet, they're still there together. Mahu, what's the halacha? Bezin yashin be'inan v'ha'ika. Do we need bezin to be sitting in their places, and they're still sitting, and therefore you're allowed to blow shofar? Or perhaps zman bezin be'inan. We need to have the time the bezin is convened to paskin. Veleka over here, they're not convened. They already closed their svarim. They're about to leave. Teku, we're gonna have to wait for Eliyahu Navi to come and answer that question. And we answered in the Mishnah Yerushalayim Yisrael Yavne, that Yerushalayim was different than Yavne, that all the surrounding environs of Yerushalayim are able to blow shofar as well. And we are very specific about it. And now the Gemara dissects that. We had said in the Mishnah, Raya, if the city could see Yerushalayim, then they're gonna be able to blow shofar Rosh Hashanah Shabbos. But Prat Lo Yesheves Benachal, that excludes the city which is in the valley. And even though they're very close to Yerushalayim, since they can't actually see Yerushalayim because there's the mountainside blocking them, they are not going to blow shofar then. Shaimas, the Mishnah had said, if they could hear Yerushalayim, Prat Lo Yesheves Bereshahar, that excludes a city that's at the top of the mountain. Even though they could see Yerushalayim, since they can't hear Yerushalayim because they're so far away, they're on a different mountaintop, they're not going to blow shofar then. Kroivo, we said the city has to be close. Prat Lo Yesheves Chutz L'Tchum, that excludes if it's outside Tchum Shabbos, so they're not considered close. And V'chayil Lave, we said that city has to be able to come to Yerushalayim. Prat L'Mafsik L'Nara, that excludes if there's a river in between, so they're not able to come, and therefore they would not blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah and Shabbos, even though they're very close to Yerushalayim. Since they cannot come, they would not blow shofar. And now we're going to be learning about more takanos from Yechim and Zakkai. Barishaina, originally when we had the Beis HaMikdash, Hayal Lulav Nito Mikdash Shivam Dino Yom Echad, the Lulav was taken in the Beis HaMikdash all 7 days, and outside the Beis HaMikdash it was taken 1 day. Mishachar Beis HaMikdash, once the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, Hiskin Rabbi Yechim and Zakkai Shei Lulav Nito Dino Shiva Zechel Mikdash. Rabbi Yechim and Zakkai, he was Masakin, that we're going to take Lulav all 7 days, even outside the Beis HaMikdash. That's because it's Zechel Mikdash, it's remembrance of what we did in the Beis HaMikdash. And he was also Masakin Shei Yom Anef Kulei Aser. The entire day of waving the Omer is Aser to eat Chadash, and we're going to talk about that in the Gemara shortly. The Gemara just asks, how do we know that there's this concept of doing something Zeichel HaMikdash in remembrance of the Beis HaMikdash? The Amakra, the Pasuk says, Ki ela ruchalach, I'm going to make a cure for you, and from your wounds I'm going to heal you, says Hashem. Kini dacha karulach, because they call you pushed away. All the Goyim call the Yidden, they call Yerushalayim pushed away. Tzion he, she's Tzion, Dairish Ein La. No one seeks her out. So Mechla, what do we learn from here? Debaya Drisha, that Tzion does need Drisha, that we have to Dairish, we have to seek out Yerushalayim, we have to seek out the Beis HaMikdash, and therefore we're going to do something that's Zeichel HaMikdash.
Amen.